I don't see Wendy necessarily throwing him under the bus. I do see a situation where Eddie will be like, if I could just take the hit, I'll take the hit. And you'll be like, avoid jail time, her raise the children. I think that's what if you make a choice as a couple to break the law, I don't know, call me old fashioned, but I would kind of expect my husband to take the fall so that I could raise my children and we're not both in jail.
Welcome to Cocktails and Gossip, the podcast where we drink cocktails, but you better believe we're going to spill the tea. We chat reality TV, celebrity blinds, and the hottest tea from BravoandCocktails.com. And as always, it's all alleged and just for fun. We do not verify our blinds. I'm B.
And I'm Amanda. Let's get into this week's tea.
What's up, cocktailers? We have a really fun surprise for you today.
Hi, cocktailers. Hi, B. We are super excited to welcome Kate Casey. So she has a wonderful podcast, Reality Life with Kate Casey, and you can follow her on Instagram at Kate Casey CA. Kate, we love your pod. We love your content. Guys, if you want to figure out what to watch, Kate has it, and she has it. She is on top of it every week. I always really like hearing her takes on housewives. They always tend to be insightful and based on, I don't know, like I was blown away the last time we had you on the pod and we were talking about Teresa and how many people just love her and how it's some of us people who are not fans of Teresa, it's kind of hard for us to see. And you said, I think these folks have had a close family member or an aunt or somebody that reminds them of her. And ever since that, I was like, okay, that actually really makes a lot of sense to me. So welcome, Kate.
Thank you. Thank you. I so appreciate that. I feel like that would all the cast members. Like for me right now, when I watch the Britney story with her daughter, it reminds me of someone I know who have been in a similar predicament. So I kind of look through a different lens. And then Bronwyn, when I watch her scenes with her mother and with her father, I'm looking through the lens of someone else I knew in my life. So I just try to look at all of their stories that way. I think that people have a visceral reaction to Jax on the Valley because they remind them of the worst boyfriend that they ever had.
Yes. Or even he's the quintessential bad boyfriend. Even if he wasn't your boyfriend, like I'm sure the three of us are women and we've all had friends who were with a guy they wouldn't get rid of. And like the relationship was so toxic, it made your friendship toxic. And like he's that awful toxic guy that we've all, if we didn't date him, our best friend did.
Or with Teresa, we knew someone like Louis, and this relationship is going south, but it's a train moving into a wall and there's nothing we can do to stop it. And if we say anything, we become the enemy and they're going to isolate and then they'll have no one to talk to. Yeah, that one's complicated too.
So it's so complicated. And we're going to touch on all those things, but there's so much Bravo to chat about. I was on Kate's pod yesterday, which will be out tomorrow. So make sure you guys listen to that. We had a lot of fun. And I don't know, I got off the pod. I had to go do carpool with my kids as I'm waiting in at the field, as us moms do. I'm scrolling and I see that Wendy Osefo is claiming that she's the victim of an illegal arrest. She is fighting the court. Amanda, do you want to give a little summary of?
Sure. So on October 17th, her lawyer filed court documents as part of the criminal case that's going on in Maryland. The document demanded that all of the charges be dismissed due to, quote unquote, defects in the charging document. So in the filing, her lawyer said Wendy was illegally arrested, as you just said. He said that all admissions, statements, or confessions should not be allowed as evidence because they were unlawfully obtained. So you guys know Wendy and Eddie were both arrested on October 9th for insurance fraud. Both are free on bond right now. They were both indicted by a grand jury. And as we mentioned, both arrested. So also as part of this, Wendy asked that the trial of co-defendants be severed from the trial of this defendant, meaning she wants her trial to be separated from Eddie's trial. In another filing, Wendy's lawyer demanded that the prosecutors turn over any evidence that they possess. She demanded a list of all the witnesses. This is all pretty, I think, normal. But they also asked for any polygraph results of any witnesses that were questioned by law enforcement, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But as we are now also experts in lie detector tests from watching Real Housewives of Orange County, we know that they are not admissible in court. So that kind of raised our eyebrows. Wendy also wanted to know if prosecutors had any confidential informants that helped with the investigation. Couple of things. We've got some cocktailers who are attorneys. We have some that work insurance. We've been having a lot of conversations back and forth. One of our cocktailer attorneys says that essentially all this filing is they're trying to get her off on a technicality. So she's not denying that she did it in these documents. They're just saying you got the evidence against me illegally, so it should be thrown out. What else? Yeah, we'll see. But I do want to bring up and get your guys' opinions. Do you think that there would be either they plan this together or it happens that Wendy and Eddie want their court cases separate? In that, do you think that they would have one of them take the fall? Or do you think that Wendy is trying to separate herself from Eddie? What do you guys make of that part of?
I think her personality is like, I think she thinks they're going to get off. I think not only that, I think her personality is probably built around this idea that the longer I can drag this out, the more I'm going to be on. This is good for the show. If anything, they're going to want me now. That's how twisted it is. So I don't think it's even occurred to them that one of them may or may not go to prison. I think they're just like probably so sick that she's getting the high off of the attention that comes with it. I don't think she's taking it that seriously.
That's so scary.
What do you think, B?
I have had a lot of cocktailers ask me, do you think her next move is to throw Eddie under the bus? I told Kate about how I was raving about them less than 12 hours before they were indicted. And I don't see Wendy necessarily throwing him under the bus. I do see a situation where Eddie will be like, if I could just take the hit, I'll take the hit. And you'll be like, avoid jail time, her raise the children. I think that's what if you make a choice as a couple to break the law, I don't know, call me old fashioned, but I would kind of expect my husband to take the fall so that I could raise my children and we're not both in jail.
Well, my understanding too is that it's not a given that if a couple is arrested, like parents, like Wendy and Eddie, that the court, once sentenced, would let the couple take their sentences at different times, like they did with Teresa Giudice and Joe. And so there is a real possibility that if they are both found guilty and sentenced, they could both be in prison at the same time, leaving their children to have to live with somebody else.
I think that was a gift they gave to the Giudices when they let them not serve at different times. Like, I think it was noted like, well, that's nice of them. But yeah, they don't have to. One would assume that any judge would do that because they're still fit parents. It's not like they broke the law and they're not going to jail for child abuse. Somebody has to raise the kids. It would make sense for them to do it separately.
The Chrisleys both went to jail at the same time and had their youngest still very much a minor.
By the way, side note, did you watch their series, the last couple episodes of their series when they came back from prison?
No.
Yeah, that was one of the best reality shows to watch.
There was a show of them coming back
just recently. Yeah, they started filming the kids and you realize everything that was on the show before felt so scripted, like a sitcom. And I was like, oh, no, this is real. You learn Savannah and Chase have all these problems and can't stand each other. Chase was dealing with an addiction issue. He was skinny and out of it. Julie's parents can't stand Todd. Julie's parents the grandfather in particular favors Chase, can't stand Savannah. Savannah can't stand her mom's father. Julie's mother is a pushover. And then Chase was also proposing to his girlfriend, who everyone thought was a loser. And then by the end of it, they are released from prison. So you see that when they come back, and then it's the last episode is them just trying to get acclimated back to life. And then the parents trying to pick up with all the relationships since they were away for those 2 years.
Oh.
Totally compelling. I wrote the people who make the show and said, you guys deserve like awards for this. It was not what I expected. It doesn't matter if you like take the politics out of it. I'm always interested in people's transitions. Like
Yeah.
how is someone released from prison and then gets acclimated back into their life? And with all those complex family dynamics on top, it was a fascinating watch. I highly recommend it.
Here's my next question for you. Are they going to do another season?
Oh, for sure. And what you realize now is Todd's kind of more open than I expected, because I've interviewed him before and he was kind of a dick. And he said, I got so sick of doing that show. It was a real burden. And I became more of a surprise. He's such a funny character, but he was finding himself becoming more of an introvert. I don't want to be bothered. I want to stay at home. And now his life mission is prison reform. And so a lot of the work that he does, he has like a Todd squad. So he's going to have a spinoff where he goes and reconnects with people that he was in prison with. There are all these young kids that were in prison with him that he called his kids, and they would come to him and ask him for life advice. And he's been highlighting on the show and on the podcast that they have about the prison system. It's really like, to me.
Okay, but he broke the law, right? So
yes. I'm saying aside from that, absolutely. Just like what happens when someone leaves prison, all their weird family dynamics that I had no idea about.
No, but
they covered it up.
Prison reform for what? People that are also guilty?
No, it's like the system, like abuse within the system, which it definitely exists. And then how basically it's so disorganized that there are people that have been waiting to be released. And because of paperwork issues, like they're in there for way too long. It's very interesting. Now, again, you have to take your politics out.
Right.
Just from a purely anthropological lens, I thought it was really interesting, because I think the most of it kind of reminds me of the Real Housewives too, is like people push their own narratives and you're like, okay, I guess that's who they are. But once they went to prison and it was their kids filming on their own, you're like, oh, this is actually what's going on with this weird family.
I want to watch.
This is why I love the content that you put out, because this is like totally a show that I think I had written off. I had written totally in the past.
I know, but you get sucked in. I'm telling you, you're gonna change your opinion of them. Savannah is definitely her father's daughter. Their personalities are similar. Chase is just like his mom. He's like kind of like a pushover. And the best kid of all is Grayson, who's the smallest one, and he is like the voice of reason, which you would have never expected. And then they have the granddaughter that they're also. Savannah's been raising that granddaughter for 2 years, and then she's pissed at the grandparents because they haven't helped at all. So they this sit down dinner for the first time in 2 years, and the grandfather's, and he's a total misogynist, Julie's dad. He's Savannah, is there anything you can do to help? And she's, get the fuck out of here. Like, where have you been, loser? And then you're like, because you see her on TV and she's so outspoken, you're like, okay. And then you see what she deals with her own family, and you're like, yeah, no wonder she's this vociferous.
All right, cocktailers, we're watching it.
It's like the Housewives this season. It's like every little puzzle piece you get more. Okay, once you meet Bronwyn's mom, you're like, oh, she married her mom because that's all she knows. That's all she thinks she deserves.
I agree with you that it always was so scripted. It's the reason I don't want to say I never watched it, because they always would play reruns. Yeah. So like when I'm putting my laundry away, if I just had Bravo on, I know the show. But I watched it a couple times and was like, why am I watching this? First of all,
it felt phony.
He doesn't seem to be engaged in his marriage.
You know what? I totally have changed my opinion on that too.
So that could have just been his disgust with the show, or just trying to be appropriate.
I think he's like playing up, like he's undoubtedly very charismatic and naturally very funny. And I think he plays that up. I should say that, put it this way. I think they have a deep love. It's not a love that's similar to ours, maybe. It doesn't look like our relationship, but I think that they are super connected in a way that I never really kind of bought until I watched this version of their show, and then listening to interviews they've done. I've changed my tune. She's a product of her parents. Her father was a misogynist. Her mom was a pushover. And even as an adult, she's somebody I would totally love to interview. I feel like she's only now in her 50s, kind of finding her own footing. And I think prison was the only thing that allowed her to finally find her own power.
Wow. And you think they stay together post-release?
Oh, I think they'll be married forever. Because I think at the core of their relationship is the deepest friendship that either of them has. I think they have a lot of people in their lives. I think they're people that both have a lot of personal friends, but I think at the core of their relationship is they are the very best friends to one another. So the romance stuff, I think it's immaterial because their bond, their friendship is so deep. And they play off of each other. They're so different, but the longer I've kind of seen this unfiltered version, it's like I said, the puzzle pieces where I'm like, oh, and that's why she chose him. That's why he chose her. That's why they parent that way.
Wow. Okay, I'm putting this in the newsletter, guys. I'll put a link.
Like I think it's going to get awards. I'm not kidding you. It's going to be. And then I heard them say it was like the #1 show for Lifetime in the last couple of years.
Cocktailers, it's finally sweater weather. But the great part about the fall is that a warm fall day can turn into a chilly fall night. And that means that layers are essential. And Quince is my go-to for quality essentials that feel cozy, look refined, and won't blow your budget. I am eyeing their wool coats. They look very designer, but cost a fraction of the price. And the quality, honestly, just as good, if not better. Because Quince partners directly with top-tier ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen, they deliver luxury quality pieces at half the price of similar brands. I don't know if I've told you guys how much I love my Quince Italian pebbled leather sling bag. I got it in this beautiful cognac color, thinking it would be great for my sideline life on the weekends watching children play sports. But it has become my everyday, all-day bag. I mean, I wear this thing even out for dinner with my husband. And my Quince throw, I love cozying up under this very, very soft blanket on the couch to watch Housewives. And my kids know that's mom's blanket, and they know that they can only use it if I am not on the couch with them. Find your fall staples at Quince. Go to quince.com/cocktails for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/cocktails to get free shipping and 365 days returns. Quince.com/cocktails.
You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. I did too. Until I found out that Nutrafol isn't like the rest of them. Nutrafol is physician-formulated, clinically tested, and dermatologist recommended. I've been using Nutrafol Women for over 3 years, and I can tell you it works. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. You can feel great about what you're putting into your body, since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF content certified, the gold standard in third-party certification for supplements. Adding Nutrafol into your daily routine is simple. Purchase online, no prescription required. Automated deliveries and free shipping keep you on track. Plus, with a Nutrafol subscription, you can save up to 20%. You'll have free access to one-on-one naturopathic doctor consults to support you on your hair growth journey. And a Headspace meditation membership is included. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code GOSSIP. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code GOSSIP. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code GOSSIP. If he really is going to expose, because he has the platform, right? And if he really is going to expose true prison fraud and stuff that's wrong. They're doing my seasonal cleaning in my backyard and I hear the men screaming as they're like,
But you know what? Even like, God bless anybody that helps. I think.
well, that's what I'm saying. So
I just believe in second chances too. I really wanted Teresa when she was released from prison and I saw her come back. I was fascinated because to me, she looked totally shell-shocked. Remember? Like she gets out of the van, she walks into the house, and then the girls approach her. I'm like, now we're talking doc series. Now we're talking like really how people adapt. And it took her a couple months, if not like a year or so, to untether herself from the experience of prison. Like she wasn't herself. And Julie says that too. Well, Todd, by the way, I ran that prison. I didn't do any work. And I was like making calls he would call Savannah and snitch on people. And then she would go out and do media appearances and talk about it. And then they would punish the other prisoners, but not him. And then, because they were like afraid of him. And then there were people who worked in the prison who would bring him Chick-fil-A and stuff, which is crazy. Julie had the opposite experience. She's like a rule follower. And when she left, she was having a really hard time unraveling it. And there's this one moment where Savannah's, Mom, why can't you just go back to being your old self?
Right.
I will never be the version that you knew me as. And I'm like, now that's interesting.
Wow.
I wish that Teresa had talked a little bit more about that. And I suspect there's a lot of the reason that she's still with Louis is because she's still processing the marriage to Joe and then what happened in prison. I'm not saying she got beat up in prison or anything. I'm just saying the experience of prison is more than we could even imagine.
right.
Being isolated from your family,
Well,
all of that stuff. Like
as a
trauma
mother,
comes with that.
I remember like feeling so bad for her. Any mother who has to go to prison,
Yeah.
to have to leave, with the exception of Brittany and maybe Bromlin's mom now, but like Teresa, and whatever your opinion on her is in every other way, there is nobody that watches that show that does not recognize that she lives for her daughters and wants.
Yeah.
And so that's traumatic. I feel bad if my kids have a performance that I have to miss because of work. Never mind. Do you know, to have to miss months and holidays? And knowing that your kids are okay, but they can't ever get that back. And that sitting in jail on Christmas Day, on their birthday, on their graduation, I don't know if you ever get over the guilt of that. Forget about yourself. Right. It's not even yourself. It's the guilt of you did something that put your kids in a position to have to be without you. And then your husband forever.
Totally. Yep. So I'm just saying maybe part of the reason I don't know Teresa, Lord knows I don't understand her, but all housewives, I think we all collectively, you spend this much time watching the show, you're rooting for them.
Right.
We are. Yeah. We're all rooting for them.
Yes.
I wonder sometimes if she married as a way of like a survival, emotional survival, and she feels like if she gets a divorce, she's going to let down her kids again.
She built them a family that I wholeheartedly believe that if Joe didn't have that deportation hiccup, if when he got out, he went straight back to New Jersey, I don't think she would have left him. I think she may have left him when the girls were older, but I think that while they were in school, she would have wrote it out. I think that because he was going to be in another country and because she already knew he was a cheater, she wasn't willing to do that. And her livelihood was here and he doesn't earn money. So what were they going to do? She had to stay in New Jersey and work. It wasn't like they could just up and leave.
It's fascinating.
All these shows this is why this is such a fun, space to be in, to watch these shows every week, because it's like a college class every week. And then
But you're Wendy,
you're
right?
It apart.
And you're looking at your contemporaries who broke the law, the Chrisleys. Yeah. You're looking at Teresa and Joe. You're looking at Jen Shah. And you're seeing
they became more famous than ever.
But
that's the way
if she's not looking at those three beautiful, sweet kids in her house and saying, because even if she gets off, they're going to have to be without their father. I
think these people have lost their minds there is a chemical shift in someone's brain when they become a reality star. You looked at Brittany this week where her daughters, I had to ask my father to talk to me about periods. You chose a man over me. And it's still, I don't think she's even listening. She's processing, how do I look on camera? Is this
something's very off there?
Totally.
Yeah.
But I think they're all kind of off.
But that wasn't when she got on the show. That was when she got remarried well before she was ever on the show. The daughter was like,
no, I know, but
she was a great mom until I was 12, and then she completely detached.
I know what you're saying, though, Kate, because you're saying you think that Brittany still hasn't learned, and then you can see that Brittany's still thinking about herself throughout that whole conversation versus really taking in what her daughter.
I think a lot of the women that participate in this show there's like a personality disorder.
Yes.
And once they become like they're plucked from obscurity, and then they have strangers in their DMs saying, "I love your outfits, I love everything you do," and they have zero hold on normalcy, and everything becomes about them, to the point where this may be bad for my family, but who cares, because now there are more Google searches about me, and now I might get on Traders because they're going to think, wow, if she did that, maybe that's the way I think that they think once they get access to this like part of fame. It's really crazy. Again, it's fascinating to watch from afar.
It is, but it's when you think of it like that, yikes.
I know.
We'll obviously keep following Wendy and Eddie, and I want to hear what you guys all think. For those of you who are on Discord with us, what you guys think about would Wendy and Eddie, either on purpose, like we said, let Eddie take the fall, and this is all, again, assuming that they are guilty. We don't know at this point. Or would Wendy throw him under the bus? So let's talk about that on Discord too.
We finally have a date for Beverly Hills, guys. December 4th, premieres. I got some insider scoop yesterday. So the first piece, you guys ready? Kyle says, this is a person who saw a screener. I don't know if it was clips, the whole episode. I don't know. Kyle says, maybe I like Brad and maybe I like Angelina. And the girls go wild. So she is finally admitting, which we all know. Now, what do we think the it is, Kate? Do we think it's that Morgan? Because Morgan is not officially out. I know that we all are like,
yeah, no, it's about her. She apparently has super religious parents and has never come out to them. And it's her decision, not. So then you feel a little bit of it's Morgan. So then you feel a little bit of empathy because,
well, she has girls as her love interest in her music videos.
But in scenes with Kyle, I have empathy because you see that she wants to say it. So yes, I'm in love with her. We're together, but she can't because she's been asked not to. And that's like a difficult position because she's on a reality show. And should she be in a reality show at this point? Maybe not. But I think it's, from what I understand, it's been because Morgan has asked her, please don't talk about us being in a relationship like that.
Wow.
So we had heard that, and I guess she's able to just tell her parents, well, that's my art. This is how people view me, but it's not. Because in her music video, her love interest is a woman. I remember the music video, which I would never do. That would be some video of me singing. My love interest would be a man. Do you know what I mean? So I don't.
Yeah. Remember, how many times have you gone home with your friends from college or you dated a guy and you realize that each family has their own set of rules and they don't always make sense and everybody has to kind of go along with it. Like you go to your cousin's house or your aunt's house and your cousin's like total weirdo, but everyone's just pretend Bobby's fine. You're like, why are we pretending? This is so stupid. But you come up with your own set of rules in your family of origin. And maybe that's one of the unspoken rules. We will not, it's right there. The shiny ball's there, but we're not going to acknowledge it.
Yeah, it's got to be. So we get that from Kyle. And then there's a new housewife, the girl Amanda, who made her fortune.
I got you something.
Oh,
my old babysitter, her husband works for at the county and he does like weddings. He does the weddings, the courthouse. And he came back a couple weeks ago and he goes, oh yeah, I married one of the Real Housewife from Beverly Hills. I went, who? And he showed me a picture and I said, oh, that's a new person. He said, oh yeah. So during the season, they go to the courthouse and they get married.
Amanda and her boyfriend, now husband. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she has a huge monologue, and this person said it is dynamite, and she goes on a rampage about how she doesn't have to depend on a man, and she wasn't built based off of a man's wealth like the rest of them. They said it's epic and long-winded. And then we're going to see Bose, I'm saying it right, Bose, and Dorit versus Erica, everyone versus newbie Amanda, Jennifer.
Wait, Bose and Dorit versus who?
Erica.
What? Good luck to you.
Everyone versus the newbie Amanda. Tilly and Sutton have a little tiff. Kyle versus Dorit. They hate each other. And it says it seems like Bose, Rachel, Dorit are teaming up and Kyle and Erica are teaming up.
That's not surprising.
Okay. Yeah.
I was curious to see which way Rachel would go because some people had been guessing, well, maybe Rachel and Dorit won't get along because they are both so fashion forward, but I would never put those two together because Rachel built brands and an incredible career based on her fashion.
I've interviewed Rachel before. I just couldn't imagine her on the show because she seems like conflict averse. Also, when you're like a CEO, you tend not to be that combative because you're in an environment where you're always trying to come up with solutions.
Do you guys hear this? Because they're blowing leaves. I'm not kidding you. So it's New York. It's fall. There's leaves everywhere. And they're outside the window. Right. My house was just, I swear my table was my desk that I'm at was shaking. I apologize, listeners.
It's okay.
I don't control these. Well, so I asked the person, I said, what goes on with Rachel and what you saw? Because I'm interested to know how much or how little she talks about her divorce, because we have a little scoop that we were told that we're going to share with you. But they said that Rachel says she wanted to have a hot girl summer, but starts crying at the end. And then there's a clip with her and her sons talking about the divorce. I don't know what details she goes into.
He was like a cheater.
Well, so we were told, and we posted this in Cocktail Party a while ago, that Raj remember when he went public with his girlfriend, like on or Rachel's birthday? The girl has the same birthday. Well, she was on a charity in Orange County, the same charity that Jesse Lolly's girlfriend is on, Lacey.
Wait, oh God.
She was on the board.
Wait, what's the charity?
It was children's cancer, I want to say. Let me look at
like
that.
The miracle one. I know all those girls that go to that one. I live in Orange County, by the way.
Yes. So this girl was on the board of it and met him. And this is a piece of work. Yeah, this is a couple of years ago. Okay. So he's been with this girl a while or was cheating with her for a while. I think it's COSF Foundation.
Roger. Okay.
Roger. So the girl was
CFF Children's.
No, COSF Foundation.
Oh,
Children's Oncology Support Fund.
Oh, okay.
So Raj's girlfriend was let go because she was having an affair with Raj, essentially, and met him at one of the events.
Classy. Okay.
Yeah. And apparently, or it could be JD or F.
That's juvenile diabetes.
That's juvenile diabetes, yeah.
I don't know which one it is, but
I just wanted to point something out really quickly. As somebody who has been divorced, and we were talking about that kind of chip or switch in people's brains, I cannot imagine ever letting any cameras ever be on my children and I discussing my divorce.
But wait, caveat that with, what is your cultural background?
I am Catholic.
And that sounds right. That sounds right.
Would never, ever want to be on television.
Talking about it because they're Jewish. Rachel's Jewish. And I feel like I find that my Jewish friends are, like, I call them yummy. Like they want to get into the thick of things. They want to talk it out. But I'm a Protestant who went to a Catholic school and Irish and English, and my family would never want to talk about it. So I realize sometimes that that's a part of it, but also Rachel's on a show because this is an enormous opportunity for her business.
Yeah.
And she and Raj were in business together. So now they have to untangle their business dealings. And she probably is it. How does this affect the future of the business? It's in my best interest to go on the show, even though this is like not in my wheelhouse.
I think for me, it's more just I would never want my children to be on. I think that me comparing myself to Rachel Zoe it's not even comparable. But I think just of how painful and hard of a conversation that is, both for her and for the children. I can't imagine ever letting cameras capture that. That really surprises me to hear that.
Well, but she has to. So to Kate's point, if she needs this show as a platform because now Raj took half her net worth, right? They were in business together, maybe more. Who knows how the cookie crumbled.
And they've been together for 20, 30 years or something.
Yeah. And they built it together.
And so now you go on a show. And I think that's why in the midst of filming, when Denise rolled up with this messy split from Aaron and all the chaos she put on camera, I heard Rachel Zoe was pissed. And I bet she was, because that probably made her have to, she had to step up her game and what she was willing to share about her divorce. And in the midst of filming, this piece of shit husband, not bad enough he cheated on her publicly, not publicly, but within their circle publicly, because this woman is in like a similar circle. But now he basically outs his relationship during filming right around Rachel's birthday, as Denise is spilling all the tea about Aaron. So now Rachel was probably forced to share more than she was initially willing to. That's my guess.
But she may have looked at Jenna Lyons and this sweet deal. Like, your partner doesn't even have to be on TV and you get to talk about blouses. I'm in.
Well, but like I always say, it's not like housewives aren't it's not fair. Like, people are like, well, this one was asked back, and it's well, it's housewives. There's no HR department that's going to treat me and Amanda the exact same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know that when you sign up for it. So now you have Denise back in the mix. So if you don't step it up, Rachel, you're not going to be asked back next season, or you'll be a friend of. And that's why we get great TV.
I thought maybe part of the reason they asked her back too is that Dorit presents herself as like this fashionista, and there's nothing better than to piss off someone like that than to get someone who really has relationships with the designers. It's kind of like Luann saying that she's like a member of royalty, and then they have Carol Roswell. It's like self-operation by casting to diffuse someone's ego, and I'm there for that.
I'm so there for that. And I think that we all believed that her and Rachel would be at odds, and it doesn't seem that was the case. Maybe initially that was the case, but
I know somebody who is like 1 degree of separation from Dorit, like worked as an assistant if you will. And their story is like she's in her room all day, and like TK's the one driving them around, and that she just has like boxes delivered all the time.
Oh, very interesting.
And I have gotten to know PK. I've interviewed him before, and I feel every time I've ever talked to him, he's like in a car with kids. So that kind of does track for me. Now, am I in their lives every week, and do I live across the street? No.
When he's in town, he's also not in town.
Yeah, but also like you guys got a job. Like if you're getting boxes to your house every day, someone's got to pay the bills. You know what I mean? I wonder how much they make. Like she must make a ton of money on. Well, does she like on her posts cameos? I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like Luann gets better cameos because that'll be funny. But Dorit might be kind of like, Jagger, wish a happy birthday to Betty. It's not gonna blow your hair back.
Well, did you see that Knows How to Keep Us Engaged? She was doing one of her shows, and they were like, who's the nastiest housewife? And she goes, screw it. I'm just gonna say it. Erica Jane, she's a bitch, or something like that. I was like, yes. And it's timing is perfect. She planted that question. They're going to BravoCon.
Smart. Yes. Good.
Yeah. Squash the Beef. There's okay. Now I got a panel with Erica at Squash the Beef, which, by the way, would love to see those two huge personalities. And Erica Jane's probably like, what?
Like a sing-off. I want to sing off. Brian Moylan and I came up with a TV show that will never be greenlit, but it's our idea that it's like The Voice meets Housewives, where all of them who have purported to be singers in some capacity have to sing for 3 judges with big X. It's like a mix of all the shows into one.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, while we're talking Beverly Hills, we got a really interesting email yesterday. So it is from Full House of Beverly Hills, subject, Aunt Becky. And it says, Bravo always had an eye out for Lori Loughlin to join.
That's true.
Oh, I love having you on, Kate. This is so great. They always had an eye out for Lori Loughlin to join Beverly Hills, but she always turned it down. After
her husband.
Oh, because of her husband. It says, after her scandal and looming divorce, Bravo is still interested, and she is now open to the idea, which would track.
But if she doesn't do that, she should do a show with her 2 daughters.
Yeah. I think I was wondering if when we were talking about Next Gen, if one of her daughters would be on that show.
They make too much money on their own. They don't need that.
They don't need it.
They'd be like, that's lowbrow.
Yeah.
Although there were kids circling the wagons because it was supposed to be like an LA version. They're working on an LA one, I should say. And I'd be like, every celebrity kid I could even admit. I've heard so many people clamoring for that job.
Well, it makes sense. It's been Bravo's biggest hit.
Olivia Jade, I'm telling you, I can make way more money just making my own videos and do my own thing.
Yeah. So the last bit of the email says preliminary discussions are already in the works for season 16 as filming would begin next summer and schedules need to be cleared. Would you like to see her on this? What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I think it would be great. I think that is a good PR and good business move. If I were an agent, I'd go book it right now. She is going to have to be
because
it's going to have to be a little bit less boring. She's a little boring. She's got to bring it up. But
that's why I think her own show wouldn't be as good as Beverly Hills.
She has to have the kids on because then she brings in the younger viewers because the younger ones, Olivia and Isabella, like people of a certain age group are obsessed with everything that they wear, who they're dating. Olivia goes out with hot guys.
She goes out with, what's his name? The really hot guy from
Jacob
Elordi. Yes.
Yeah.
Aunt Becky to me has always been one of the most beautiful women. She just has such a beautiful face.
I know her kids are really pretty too.
So did you see John Stamos came out swinging against her ex-husband?
Yes, because he did an interview and he was asked about it. And he calls on, he's a narcissist. He makes a lot of money, but he's a bad guy. And she had to take the fall for him. So in other words, like she had to fall on the sword, even though it was his decision to do the whole Varsity Blues like shenanigans. And God bless, he's glad they're not together anymore. And he said, I'll never talk to them again. I think they had a thing. I had to read his book for my friend Chelsea Devance's podcast, which you have to listen to. It's called Glamorous Trash. And she reads all the memoirs. So she had me read the John Stamos one with her. And we went through it. And it was like, there was like a little romantic dalliance for a little bit. But then she met Massimo.
But he referred to her publicly as like the one who got away.
Yeah, but she met Massimo. And Massimo is, okay, let me tell you this one thing.
Yeah.
I remember everything. It's like years ago, I'm watching Oprah Winfrey, and Oprah is doing a tour of, this is when Massimo sold the business to Target, and he really made a shit ton of money. So they're doing a tour, and they have this like house. It was in Laguna Beach, and the cameraman's asking, or the producers, when did you guys know when like they hit it big? And posted the two of them with their big house in the background. And she starts to kind of answer, and then he like interrupts her and he goes, I can tell you when I married you. And I thought, oh my God, you're a horrible man.
Wow.
And I think he's like shaded
speaking for her. He was saying,
you made it big when I married you. All of this success is because of me, and don't forget about it.
So my God, I initially thought you meant like he made it big when he married her.
Oh no, this designer who he sold his stuff to Target, and then he makes money. But meanwhile, she's been working forever and was famous. I think she's been waiting in the wings. So she seemed boring. However, I don't know, she found the Lord when she went to prison. So who knows? But she could dial it up, or maybe she'll be like a Rachel Zoe where they join because they think it's going to help business, and then someone like a Kate Casey is on the cast, and they're like, okay, let's deal with your husband. And then he was a monster, and then I'm like, game on, and then we love Becky.
Yeah.
I feel like sounds like she was like emotionally abused. And even though John came out so strong, I just want to say if I'm John Stamos' wife, I'm not loving it. Refer to her publicly as the one who got away. I don't know. How's their marriage doing?
Okay, so let me tell you another thing about that.
Yes, do it.
Okay, I think there's something really weird with John Stamos in Disneyland, and I worry that maybe he had something bad happen to him when he was a kid because he's obsessed with Disneyland. And that when an adult is obsessed with Disneyland, there's like red flags for me. I think that Rebecca Stamos too, or Romaine Stamos at the time, she was Stamos. They would go on to Disneyland all the time. If I had the opportunity to see her in a dark corner, I would go, what's the deal with Disneyland? The woman that he's married, I think they met at Disneyland and they got married at Disneyland. And she's significantly younger and she has a baby. I don't think they're on an even playing field because reading his book, it's the John Stamos show all day long. All day long is the John Stamos show. There's something weird going on. But I would also submit to you, I also think Felicity Huffman needs a second chance. She was in the Varsity Blues situation too. And I know she's acting now, but like I think she needs a second chance too. So I would throw in Felicity Huffman to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills too.
people have always said that she is salt of the earth, a really great person, Felicity. At least that I've heard. I think it would be interesting. I do want to say, John Stamos and Lori Loughlin have that kind of chemistry where maybe they were a couple for a short time, but it seems like the timing was kind of never. And as a kid who grew up in the 80s and 90s, I kind of love that Uncle Jesse and Aunt Becky have each other's back still.
Or dies. Total ride or dies. He's like
I say he's leaving his wife for her. I'm calling it now.
I think so.
I think he's in love with her.
I wouldn't be mad about that. I would kind of enjoy to see that from afar.
Well, I'd feel bad for the wife and they have a kid together, but I've seen him like, I follow him on Instagram and I do think that he loves publicity. I remember when.
Oh, he sure does, yes.
Yeah, the one who had cancer, other uncle, not Uncle Jesse, but Uncle whatever his name was.
It's Uncle Danny, not Danny. Whatever. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But like.
The one who I went with Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
Uncle Joey.
John Stamos made his cancer battle about him for a minute. And
that's correct. You're right.
He was on
with that pretended, yes.
No, he wore a wig. It would have actually been more authentic if he, and that's what the media was saying. This guy's got to be kidding. Like you shave your head for your friend, that's newsworthy. Putting a cap over your head, because he would never shave that gorgeous Greek hair. I bet he's Angie K's first crush. But
it's a good question, actually. So I bet it was.
I'm sure. And I do think that he is an egomaniac and totally full of himself. And I believe that in his home, it's the John Stamos show. The wife isn't famous. She's younger. She bows down.
Correct. Yeah.
But he's a beautiful man.
He's giving shit about Massimo. I'm like, is that what your relationship is like, too?
Yeah. That's what I think.
Do you think he has our voodoo doll right now?
He's too self-involved to care what we say.
I don't know. It's so funny that you said that about Disney people, because I've always found it strange when there's like Disney adults that
we're gonna piss people off.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I'm just being honest. It's a little weird.
People who do their honeymoon in Disney are absolutely
that's the level I'm talking about. I'm not talking about taking a family vacation. I'm saying you have Disney one opportunity to go away. And you show up with matching shirts and you've got the ears on and you are clamoring to get the autograph of the girl who's actually like a senior at Chapman University in the theater department, and you want her signature because she says she's Princess Jasmine. You've lost your mind. You've lost the plot. You need some help. That's what I'm talking about.
That's exactly. Yes.
It's not Chewbacca. It's a guy who plays on the football team at Mission Viejo High School.
I actually have friends. There's a program through colleges, which I guess is what you're referring to. So I obviously live in New York, and I have friends who did like the Florida program. There's like a whole world.
It's very prestigious, actually. Yeah, it's very hard to get that internship, the college internship at Disney. Sometimes you're literally just the person who's driving the boat across the pond. You're not
asbestos water. Fun.
Yeah, you're literally or you're a lifeguard at one of the Disney beaches. Like, it's not, but it's very hard to get, and it's very prestigious.
And if that's what you want, God bless, and go for it. Absolutely.
Listen, whatever blows your hair back, you're not hurting anybody. I can't relate. I took to Disney twice, and I literally was there for a day and got the hell to my condo on the beach. I was like, all right, one day we're in, we're out.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about Renaissance fairs. Like, why?
Never been to one.
Yeah.
Those are fascinating to me, only because I think there's a whole traveling element of it, that people travel because it stays in the same place for 3 weeks at a time or so. So there's people who literally are Renaissance carnies who travel with the Renaissance Fair year round. But then there's also the people who go full out when it does come in town, and they go in character, and a whole interesting subculture to me.
It must be like the same kind of person whose like grandfather would go to Civil War reenactments with the outfits
or
on,
like
pretend
people who go to Comic-Con every year. Like
it's
I remember,
but in an outfit.
It's all a different flavor of LARPing.
Yeah.
But I just would like to point out that we're saying this as Amanda and I have created a podcast based on our hobby, which is Bravo. So different strokes for different.
Yeah, but it would be
I'm fanatical about things I like as well. It's just those aren't the things I like.
But it would be different if you showed up to this interview and one of you was dressed as Teresa and the other one is Margaret. That's the level of, that's what I'm talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Kate, do you watch Big B Dynasty?
Of course. And I was one of the first people that watched the show because we got screeners first season. And I was like, everybody needs to watch the show. And here's why. It's in the Midwest. There are no shows in the Midwest. It's a bunch of guys. It's father-son dynamics. You're not going to see that anywhere else. And they're really nice people. And I have to say, of all the people that I've interviewed, and there have been many, they are some of the nicest people that I've ever dealt with. I'm 5 minutes late. I'll call you from my car. It's gracious. Thank you so much for taking the time. So I know that the father committed a crime and I know he's going to serve time. I will probably write him a letter while he's there and just go, I'm thinking about you. I think they're really nice people. I'm glad that they did the show. I find the dynamics interesting.
They're very good to look at too. The boys are beautiful. Even the dad is very handsome. Steve
and they're
Jr.
authentically themselves. They're all wacky, and there's nothing I love better than a character. And if you are authentically yourself, I'm on board.
And Steve McBee showed up to ours topless. So
but again, amazing.
He had a tank top on me. It was a skimpy tank top.
I'm calling
Isn't he a riot? Isn't he a riot with
everything but nipple? We were given everything but nipple.
You get a T-shirt with that. Everything but the nipple. I find that he's so funny with his granddaughters too. Like he raised these boys, and he's a man, and then he's like a puddle of tears with the girls. It's like a crack up.
I know. I hope it encourages him to treat women nicer.
It definitely seems like the rest of the country has really caught on. The McBees is it's picked up in terms of audience. And
I'm not saying I'm like a whisperer. I'm just saying I'm a whisperer. I'm telling you, I got the finger on the pulse.
You do.
It's your job to have your finger on this pulse, and you're very good at it.
Thank you. So can I tell you something else to watch right now?
Of course.
Okay. It's based on a true story. No, unscripted is really like my wheelhouse, but this one is scripted, but it's based on a true story. And it's 5 episodes. It's on Netflix. You can watch it right now. It's called, oh God, what's the exact title? They Never Saw Us Leave.
Oh God.
No, excuse me. No One Saw Us Leave. No One Saw Us Leave. That is the title. It's based on a true story. It is set in the 1960s in Mexico. And picture it. Valeria Goldberg is married into this very wealthy, powerful family, and her life looks perfect. But one day she comes home and her 2 kids are missing. The husband has kidnapped them.
Oh.
And what follows is this unbelievable multi-continent search for the children.
Now, were they married? Were they divorced?
They were married.
Like their marriage was seemingly okay. They weren't separated.
Well, you'll find out all the moving parts of it. But
yeah,
the beginning of it flashbacks to their wedding, and you have a window into this family that she's marrying into, and how the husband's father rules the roost. And it's based on a true story, a book that was written by Valeria's daughter. She's a daughter and a son. And so I started watching. I got sucked into it because it's based on a true story, and I'm interviewing the author at the beginning of next week. But it's like one of those series that everybody is going to start watching and go, holy shit.
What?
Really good.
What platform is it on?
Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
This sounds like a good one to.
And it, like one of those series too, when you're trying to find something to watch with your husband. And it's like, you want to watch that reality TV. They want to watch war movies. You got
story of my life. He likes everything action, and I like more like story based.
This is right down the middle. You're going to like it. Oh, now, if your husband likes that action stuff, have you guys watched American Manhunt, Osama bin Laden on Netflix? Because that's 3 episodes where they go through what happened.
You will love that.
Pre 9/11, and then by the 3rd episode, you're meeting with the Navy SEALs that went in and how the whole operation worked. Getting into an Islamabad. American Manhunt, Osama bin Laden. Not only did I interview the executive producers, they interview all of these women who were the CIA agents who really were responsible for tracking down Osama bin Laden. And because it was during the Obama administration, by the 3rd episode, when they get him, it's the Obama administration. And anyway, all these female agents are highlighted. They're really the ones that were responsible. And I interviewed one of them. She was a sorority sister at USC when she was recruited. And it's like a year after college, she's working with George W. Bush and the whole administration in these like crazy meetings, trying to track him down. And she's now a professor at TCU. And her name's Tracy. And you guys can follow her at The Unexpected Spy on Instagram, and she keeps you up to date on all international affairs.
Oh, fantastic. How does that happen, by the way? How do they pick one person out of, I was in a sorority. I can't think of one person that I was in my sorority with. And this is with much respect to how do they pick the one person and just pluck them out and recruit them?
Well, I'll tell you why. Well, she went to a college fair, and her roommate was like really into the college fair, and she was going around, and there was like a tent for the CIA, and she started talking to them and asking questions, and then submitted an application, then gets a call back, and then another call and another call. Well, one thing that she said that stands out about CIA is that you really kind of have to be somebody who can kind of blend in. And all three of us are off the table right now. There's no chance in hell because we're too
For me, it's my voice.
forward.
Yeah.
Although, some of the tactics that she used, I thought were really interesting when she talked about her time in the Middle East, getting information from someone. That's all kind of interesting, but you really have to be someone who got one of the things.
So, in other words, you also have to look like somebody. You know those people who look like somebody you know, but you don't know them?
No, that's not what's important. She said one of the things that stood out was when they go back and they interview people in your life when you're up for the job, no one kind of remembered her at her high school.
That's so sad.
And that's to you and to me. But that stood out to the CIA was like, oh, that's great. That wasn't a problem to her. She was like, oh, I didn't take that personally. I was like, I would take that personally.
Yeah.
You have to be somebody without any ego.
I would be on my way to my
who melts in. Hang up, that's what I'm saying. So they know how to find those people. My neighbor growing up went into the CIA, and she was the oldest of a family of 5.
Was she insignificant to you? Like unremarkable, let's say?
Well, she was so much older, but my mom said, yeah, I barely paid attention to her. I know.
Wow.
Because she told me that story about the high school. I was like, I would be so pissed off. And she's, I thought it was a great compliment. I was like, and I am not meant for the CIA. No. But I'll tell you one thing I did say to her, because this is like wackadoo, but I have 1,400 episodes where I've interviewed every kind of person. And I said, you know what I find? Whenever any place I go anywhere, there are 2 things that are safe questions for me to ask about. And I said, one is I can ask someone about their grandmother and about the food they ate growing up. And that's a conversation starter. And I can talk to it for an hour about that. And that's not offensive in any way. You can't ask about politics, religion, all this. You can ask about someone's grandmother. Grandmother's safe. Grandfather, not always a great feeling. Grandmother's safe and the food they ate. And she's, you might be able to work at the CIA. And I was like, okay, now I'm back on.
No, you're too.
Now it's
have added today.
Yeah. But you got to ask, you have to be able to ask questions. And
you're too blonde, quite frankly. Somebody as blonde as you can't possibly.
No, she's blonde. She's blonde. Yeah.
Wow.
She worked in the Middle East too, which is
okay. How do you blend as a blonde in the Middle East? Well, I guess you
what else? You have a lot of head covering already.
Right. Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Kate, tell everybody where they can find you.
I can be found anywhere on any platform for podcast Reality Life with Kate Casey. You can also get my episodes on YouTube. I'm on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Threads at Kate Casey, Instagram at Kate Casey CA, and TikTok, it's Kate Casey. What's really important for you to know is that what to watch list, which is going to be essential for you every Monday. I'm going to break down for you what to watch in unscripted TV. And the great thing is that's in different categories. So I'm like a huge sports person. I cover sports, true crime, reality, dating, pretty much anything under that umbrella. And I've got 6 episodes a week. Monday's my What to Watch episode. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are interviews. And then Saturday, I've got a Saturday series where I get to interview guests who have unbelievable personal stories. Like this girl this Saturday, she had a baby after a one-night stand.
Oh.
And when he was 15 months, he died after he was in daycare, and he was wearing one of those amber necklaces. Remember, people used to put them on for teething. Something happened, and they said the death was by strangulation.
Oh.
So she became this huge baby advocate, baby safety advocate. After a couple of years and becoming sober because she went through a season of grief, she decides to be a single mother by choice. And she gets a donor, and that story is kind of crazy too. And then she goes on a date, and she kind of films it on TikTok. I'm going to go on this crazy, just follow this guy. Ends up falling in love with the guy, and they just had twins.
Oh.
And he's adopting the son that she had.
Oh, I'm happy.
The donor. So it's just a great story. So it's like a lot of people that have great stories who, I'm like, why is there not a TV show about you?
That should be a movie.
Yeah.
Maybe it will be.
with Kate.
Anyway. Kate, thanks
So great having you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
What's up, cocktailers? We want to thank you, as always, for listening to Cocktails and Gossip. Because of you, we've hit some amazing milestones, had some hilarious conversations, and have grown a truly amazing community. If you haven't already followed our podcast, hit the follow button in the top right of your Apple Podcast player, the follow button under the show logo on Spotify, or the subscribe button on Google Podcasts. We thrive on you, our audience. So make sure to tell all your gossip-loving friends about us too. And if you want to get all the tea, join our membership cocktail party by going to bravoandcocktails.com/join. Our members get access to the exclusive tea we post, the weekly podcast without ads, plus another additional bonus podcast every week. And of course, members also get to join us on our monthly live cocktail party Zoom, where we talk about the latest tea and even share tea that's just too hot to put in writing. Last, but maybe best, our members get access to the Cocktail Party Discord, where you can chat with Amanda, me, and all of the other cocktailers as well. There are always some great combos and hilarious comments happening in Discord. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you.